Has the curse of Meghan really struck again? I mean, is she really truly still that powerful in this climate, given the fact that we now know that she's openly lied to the British courts, seemingly doesn't know one end of a true story to another, and as we've seen in that docuseries and Prince Harry's book, so many flaws in their narrative every single time they put out a particular story, not just from them, but from the people that knew them or have been associated with them. But as with all celebrities, they have their own version of events. And as I've often said here on the show, when you've worked with celebrities for many years, the bottom line is they don't like you to talk about that. There was a very famous star of Friends that I once interviewed at the Dorchester Hotel in London. And I walked into her room by mistake and she was smoking. And yet she did an interview saying no, she was very health conscious, she didn't smoke, she didn't drink. Bottom line is, that was her version of events. She knew and I knew it was a total lie. It's a bit little like Harry and Meghan, isn't it? They decide, as I say, their version of events. So what's interesting now, as ever, in this developing story is truly this. You see, over here in the United Kingdom, as you know, the TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson made the faux pas of, basically berating Miss Markle in his column for the Sunday Times. And this really exploded. So much so that Harry mentioned it during his interview rounds publicising his book, War Spare, whatever you want to call it. And, he hoped to get a lot of traction from that. He's since, according to a very good source, realised that he should have really shut up about it because that's now really made Mr. Clarkson's programs even more popular, more successful, if that were possible, right? But now there's a rumour whirling around that ITV are going to cancel his contract as the host of the quiz show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's a big success, being revitalised by Jeremy and brought back as a massive ratings hit. Very popular with the advertisers, very popular with the ITV shareholders, seemingly though Jeremy's now not very popular with the boss of ITV, Carolyn McCall. She's seen lots of people disappear from the brand and lots of shareholders. In fact, shareholders are plummeting, under her tenureship. And many people would like to see the back of Miss McCall, no doubt including the former Breakfast TV host, Mr. Piers Morgan. But according to a very good source, she's very keen on the woke oratory, the brand message. And if you listen to many of their programs, their debates and discussions, that's the sort of side it's on. Now, what's interesting here is, and according to a very good source, that particular story circulated and came out at the exact time of the eviction of Frogmore Cottage about Harry and Meghan from King Charles III. Fascinating, don't you think? I mean, why would you release that particular story at that particular time? Now, according to another source, Jeremy Clarkson has not been informed about this sudden departure from his mega hit show and still in discussion. There's another season or series of that to go. Now, here's where it gets really tricky for Miss McCall and, of course, Meghan Markle, because if viewers totally support the programme and it becomes a #1 quiz hit once again in the ratings, it's very difficult to remove that person, as the BBC saw with the brilliant former tennis player Sue Barker by replacing him with the little watch Paddy McGuinness. So now really the ball truly is in the court of the viewer. If Carolyn McCall and Meghan Markle feel they're very powerful, that could be at the detriment of the shareholder of the channel. If, of course, the viewer supports Mr. Clarkson in the return of his quiz show, perhaps she will be forced to bring him back once again. And how would Meghan feel about that? And more importantly, what could they concoct press-wise regarding that? As ever, this is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more.